She was known in her Dublin community as a devoted mother of two. But behind the walls of her own home, tragedy struck. In May 2022, Lisa Thompson's life was cut short in an attack that shocked her family and neighbours.
Gardaí and Ballymun continue to keep an open mind in relation to who was responsible for the brutal murder of mother of two Lisa Thompson. The 52-year-old's body was found a week ago today at 3:30 in the afternoon at her home in Sandy Hill Gardens, where she lived alone. She sustained multiple stab wounds and officers believe she was dead for some time before her remains were discovered after a neighbour who was concerned alerted emergency services. Gardaí say no one has been questioned so far as a suspect in this investigation.
Investigators later revealed that the man responsible was not a stranger lurking in the dark, but someone she had once trusted, a former partner with a troubling past. The brutality of the crime stunned even seasoned detectives, and the trial that followed exposed disturbing details about betrayal, violence, and hidden secrets. What unfolded in court showed how quickly trust can be shattered, and how forensic evidence ultimately uncovered the truth. This is not just the story of a murder. It's the story of a family devastated, of justice pursued, and of a community left asking how such violence could happen inside an ordinary home.
A man walked into the station here in Finglas at 7:10 last Thursday morning, just 2 days after Lisa Thompson's body was found, and handed in an official document belonging to Lisa Thompson to a staff member here before leaving the station. It's understood that it's the type of document that Lisa Thompson would have carried on her person or would have had in her home. And Gardaí want to know how this man came to be in possession of this document. They have CCTV of the man, but they're asking him to make contact with them urgently, saying he knows who he is. In the meantime, officers have seized CCTV footage from a number of locations near the scene and have been looking for suspicious activity in and around the woman's house on Saturday the 7th and Sunday the 8th of May.
On May 9, 2022, tragedy struck inside Lisa Thompson's Dublin home. Gardaí discovered her lying in her own living room. She had suffered 11 stab wounds to the chest, and a blind cord had been wrapped tightly around her neck. The scene was shocking in its violence, a moment that stunned not only investigators but also her devastated family. During the trial, Lisa's daughter shared a heartbreaking statement. She said her mother's injuries were like those only seen in horror movies. It was a raw description, underscoring just how brutal and unimaginable this attack was for those who loved her most. While reporters and courts focused on the facts, the family's words revealed the deep emotional scar left behind. For them, Lisa was not just another crime statistic. She was a mother, a sister, and a friend, stolen from them in an act of violence they could never have prepared for. Forensic science quickly became the turning point in the investigation. Detectives tested the blind cord that had been wrapped around Lisa Thompson's neck. The results were clear. It carried the DNA of Brian McHugh, a man once close to her. This physical evidence placed him directly at the scene and removed any doubt about his involvement. But it wasn't only the DNA. Gardaí also traced his movements on the night of the murder. CCTV cameras positioned near Lisa's home captured McHugh in the area, providing investigators with visual proof that supported the forensic findings. Together, the DNA and CCTV footage built a compelling case, one that showed not just suspicion, but hard evidence linking McHugh to the crime. In the courtroom, this scientific and digital trail became central to the prosecution's argument, leaving little room for denial. As Gardaí pieced together the case, they also made a surprising discovery in Lisa Thompson's home. Hidden in the attic were thousands of prescription tablets, with an estimated street value of around €50,000. While this detail added complexity to the investigation, it did not change the central focus. Lisa had been brutally murdered, and all evidence pointed to Brian McHugh. McHugh, a 40-year-old man from Ballymun, Dublin, stood in the dock and pleaded not guilty. He denied involvement, even as the DNA on the blind cord and CCTV footage told a very different story. After a full trial, the jury retired to consider the evidence. In just over 3 hours, they returned with a unanimous verdict: guilty of murder. For Lisa's family, that decision confirmed what they already knew in their hearts, that justice had to be served. The courtroom then heard powerful victim impact statements. Lisa's children and her sister described the devastating loss, the daily emptiness, and the long-lasting trauma they carry. Their words reminded everyone that behind the headlines and evidence files was a woman who was loved deeply, and whose absence left a permanent wound. On March 10, 2025, the court delivered its final judgment. Brian McHugh was sentenced to life in prison, with the sentence backdated to July 11, 2022, marking the day he was first taken into custody. The ruling ensured that he would spend the rest of his life behind bars for the murder of Lisa Thompson, but he was not the only one held accountable. The investigation revealed that another individual, Deirdre Arnold, had played a supporting role. She had acted as McHugh's getaway driver, bringing him to Lisa's home, later taking him to a hotel, and even helping to dispose of evidence. For her involvement, the court sentenced her to 2 years in prison. This case became a powerful reminder of how deeply trust can be betrayed and how quickly it can turn into violence. At the same time, it showed the importance of modern forensic science, detailed police work, and a justice system willing to act firmly in the face of such brutality. In the end, the verdicts brought accountability, though for Lisa's family, the pain of her loss will never truly fade. This case is more than just a story of crime and punishment. It starkly illustrates how trust within close relationships can sometimes be betrayed in the most devastating ways.
We can't believe Lisa got justice today, and we know she's up there bouncing around with joy, and especially for our children and our family. We just can't believe, and especially the judge she got today, done her very proud.
What kind of a lady was she? How do you remember her?
She was a lovely lady. She would give you her heart on a plate. She was beautiful, great neighbour.
Turning what should be a place of safety into a scene of violence. It also underlines how critical forensic science has become in the pursuit of justice. DNA testing, CCTV footage, and careful police investigation provided the evidence that ensured accountability in court. Without these tools, the truth might never have been uncovered. But perhaps most importantly, the case highlights the courage of survivors and families who speak out. Lisa Thompson's children and sister stood before the court to share their pain, ensuring that her memory was honored and her story would not be forgotten. Their strength reminds us that behind every headline is a family carrying unimaginable loss, and their voices are vital in keeping the human side of justice alive. Justice for Lisa was won, but at a life-shattering cost. May her story inspire awareness, protection, and support for vulnerable individuals. If you found this report informative, please like, share, and subscribe to Crime Uncovered for more fact-based updates and analysis on major U.S. stories.